Good morning, students. Today we'll have some important example and concept of the continuity. The question is example number 15, and question says find all the points of discontinuity of function f of x equal to greatest integer function x. So this is not a new name. You already have heard in class 11th when I taught you greatest integer function. So what it works, how it works. First I want to explain the operation of greatest integer function. This is number line. Look at properly. This is number line. And well known it is because also in this year in previous chapters we have discussed this. When greatest integer function operates on any x, it gives less and nearest integer. That's very famous, less and nearest integer. Suppose I want to apply the greatest integer function on 1.1. 1.1 is here. It will give you less and nearest integer, meaning 1. Similar, if 1.2 is being here, 1.2 is here, again the less and nearest integer is 1. If 1.7 I'll choose, so normally students say it is 2, but it is not 2, it is again 1, because must be less and nearest 1. Even 1.9 if you choose, 1.9 also give the answer 1, and complete integer is itself 1. So this is a simple property. I think you understand that when greatest integer function operates on any integer or any number, it gives a less and nearest integer. Okay, so this will help you, and I tell you that it's an important one. We have to find the points of discontinuity of the function, meaning we just have to find all the points at which this x greatest integer function x is discontinuous. So okay, first of all we'll discuss about two things, the integer point and non-integer point, because on a real number, if you will think about, this is a real number line. We just have a two kind of number. First, integer. These are integer, and between them they are non-integer. So we just discuss about only 2 points, integer point and non-integer point. So one by one we will find the continuity, we will discuss the continuity of the function at integer point and then later non-integer point. Okay, so how I start this, look at properly. Solution. Want to make a picture first. This is infinite, this is plus infinite, minus infinite. And I say first, let C be any integer. Look at C be any integer. And we discuss the continuity of function, whatever the function is given at C. Now first of all, I have chosen that integer point. So name it C, not 1, not 2, not 3. In mathematics it is not accepted. You have to go with a symbolic C. C is any integer. Okay, so this is C. This is C. Not 0, not 1, not 2, only C. So one should clearly know that if it is C and if it is an integer line, what will the next integer? What will be the next integer? So in mathematics is very common. After C it's C plus 1. 1 will add, and before C is a C minus 1. That's simple. And now we discuss the continuity at C, because C is what, an integer. We discuss actually continuity of two way. First for the integer and for the non-integer. So first we have taken here, first we have taken C with the integer, and we'll discuss at integer point. Okay, so you know the so-called procedure: right hand limit at C, left hand limit at C, and main value at C. Okay, right hand limit. How we start? Right hand limit x tends to c plus function, limit x tends to c plus your function is integer function. Now I'll change in h tends to 0. So instead of x it is c plus h. So where c plus h is being? The h is very small interval. So c plus h is almost here. This is what? It is c plus h. It is c plus h. So if it is c plus h and greatest integer function is operating on c plus h, so first operate integer function on c plus h, what it gives. Don't put h equal to 0. But first find what is c plus h having a greatest, when it the greatest integer function will apply on a c plus h, what it gives you. So c plus h will give you its nearest and less integer, which is itself c. So guys, you have to write when c plus h here, when integer function applies on that, it gives the nearest and less integer, which is c. When it is c, it is independent of h. When you will put h equal to 0, no effect on it, and it gives again c, because there is no h. So this is the right hand limit. Okay. Now I'll move on a left hand limit. Look at properly. Left hand limit is what? Limit h tends to limit right hand limit at x equal to c. Now it is right hand limit for c, left hand limit. Don't need to write. Look at x tends to c minus function. Now it was a c plus function. Okay. Now x tends to c minus, what is function? Integer function x. Again turn as h tends to 0. And here it is c minus h. You know the method c minus h. Now where is the c minus h? Now I want to rub this because the work has finished for this. Where is c minus h? So definitely c minus h is very near to c, but just behind the c. And when c minus h is this one, when greatest integer function apply on c minus h, it gives the less and nearest integer, which is c minus 1. Very interesting. When c minus h here, when greatest integer function will apply on c minus h, it gives the less integer, which is c minus 1. And there is no h here, so answer will be c minus 1. The thing is stopped here. We don't have to go further because this and this are not same. When right hand limit itself and left hand limit are not same, we are actually further we have a one more step, which is to find out what the value of the function at x, exactly at x equal to c. I don't want to find that. I don't have any interest to find this, because already I have got, since what you write, since limit x tends to c plus function itself is not coming equal to x tends to c minus function, so we conclude that function f of x is discontinuous at x equal to c. And what is c? C is what? Integer point. Ultimately I would say f of x is discontinuous at all integer points, and this is the conclusion. Now we have concluded that this greatest integer function is never continuous at integer point. Now I think it is over. You can hear me by viewing the video as much as you want. Now I'll take the second condition without rubbing this this particular picture, and now we discuss, this is at integer point. Now we discuss at non-integer point. Okay, look. Let A be any non-integer point. So one should clear that c is an integer, c plus 1 integer, c minus 1 integer. A is non-integer. So definitely it will be either between these two or between these two, or you know that between two integers it is a non-integer. So I am taking intentionally that A is here. And A is what? Non-integer point. Okay, fine. Let A is between C and C plus 1. Look, it's very simple interval I have made here. C and C plus 1, and A is lying between this. It is not necessary if you have made a picture, but for second you have to make another picture. But it is depending on C, because C is an integer. Okay. Now we discuss the continuity at A. Now we discuss the continuity at x equal to a, because a is what? Non-integer. Okay, now start. Right hand limit quickly. X tends to a plus function. Limit x tends to a plus, what is function? Integer function. Now turn as x tends to 0. This is a plus h. Now quick tell me where's a plus h. So it is a. So just after a, it is a plus h. And when it is a plus h, simply tell me when greatest integer function apply on a plus h, it gives a less and nearest integer. Look at integer. So if it is a plus h, when our integer function apply on a plus h, it gives a less and nearest integer, which is not a, but it is c, because c was integer. So answer is only c. We don't need that, because when h will operate on definitely here, it is independent of h. Answer will be exactly c. Now left hand limit, same I'll do. Left x tends to a minus function. X tends to, if what is a function? Integer function. Turn is in h. What it will come? A minus h. And look at where is a minus h. Let me rub all this and all. With a minus h just behind a. This is a minus h. When a minus this integer function apply on a minus h, one should know that when this is a minus h, this is a, this is now no point. So it is a minus h. When integer function on apply on a minus h, it gives a less and nearest integer, which is again c. Which is again c. And then again also c. But these two are same, but it is not enough. We have to go for mean value. Again, at x equal to c, what will the action of this x? When I will put, a, because a is non-integer and we are finding each and everything at a. So x equal to a, if I put this a, now tell me, see the picture again. I ask you one thing, when greatest integer function apply on a, again it gives what? Less and nearest integer, which is again c. So very interesting it is. Very interesting. It is all are c. Lastly you will write, what you will write? Since limit x tends to a plus function, limit x tends to a minus function, and f of a all are same, function is function is continuous at x equal to a, or we can say that function is continuous at all non-integer point. So final conclusion that the greatest integer function is always discontinuous at integer point and always continuous at all non-integer points. So I think it is a very good question as far as the exam is concerned. You do it by your own now, because I have it told already on the board. Let's watch now. We do what is next. We have a simple algebra now, and I think it's not a very tough task, but still I want to tell you something about two continuous functions. Very simple thing. Look at students. Now, because some continuous property of the function you should know directly. You actually see the function and directly tell that whether it is continuous or not, without proving left hand limit, right hand limit. Like, if I ask you one thing, what about sin x? Have you ever seen that sin x? Very first day in the this chapter I taught you that sin x. Actually, graph of sin x is what? Between 1 to minus 1, and it is pi by 2 and pi and 3 pi by 2 and 2 pi and so on, so on, so on. I don't want to, that write out pi, 2 pi or something like intervals. I just want to pull your attention on that. This is continuous. So one should directly remember that sin x is continuous everywhere. And what is meaning of everywhere? At all real number. Cos x one should know that what is cos x, how the cos x graph, like that, like that, like that. It is always continuous at all the real number, all the real number. So this is actually the thing which I want to share with you. Many functions like f of x equal to e to the power x, or something log x or tan x, all are continuous in its domain. Somewhere tan x is not continuous, somewhere log x is not continuous, but in its domain it is continuous. So sometime we have to we talk about one more thing. Have you heard why f of x equal to x square? It is not surprise. It is what function it is called? It is called polynomial function. Whenever any function comes in alone x, like x to the power 2 plus 2x plus minus 1, something like that, in simple equation it is coming with any power it is. This is none else, it is a polynomial function, and one should remember that it is never discontinuous. Meaning while making the graph, guys, definitely I can tell you one example. This is f of x equal to x square. This is f of x meaning y. Y equal to x square. Have you seen this? Do you remember that? Read opposite. X square equal to y. Do you again remember that? You read in class 11th. Now let me speak. X square equal to, it is not y, it is 4ay. No? It is the equation of parabola and it is upside like that. Like that. While making the graph of this, it never break. Meaning this is what? Always continuous. This is what? Always continuous. So keep remember one thing always, that any polynomial function is always continuous. Always continuous. So similar kind of lots of functions which are continuous. Directly you can say without finding any particular method actually. In algebra I want to teach that the sum of any two or more continuous function, it is also continuous. Very simple sentence. Very simple sentence. Very simple. Meaning if I ask you a simple question. Does this function continuous everywhere? You would say directly yes. Why? Because sin x is itself continuous. Cos x is itself continuous. So their addition is also continuous. So we don't have to find anything. So directly sum, similarly subtraction of any two continuous functions itself continuous. Product of any two continuous itself continuous. And division also continuous, but in one case except cos x must not 0. Meaning denominator should not be 0. Definitely one should know that when denominator will get 0, no sense at all. No sense at all. So the restriction of the quotient function, that division, so the denominator should not equal 0. Otherwise the when these two are continuous function, definitely whole will be continuous function. So this is simple algebra. I don't think that is a tough one. You should know that what function are continuous and which one is not. I think you can get it so easily. Okay. We have actually the last section which is a bit tough and it requires a time. So I request you students, please do 5.1 exercise from your side. Now I have done all the example. I have yet to tell you the example 19 and 20, which is from my side. I will tell, but based on those questions which already have made here till now, I think you can start 5.1 exercise from your side and you can make till 22 question. So this actually when you hear there's a 22 questions you are given to us, but it's let me speak something that they're all very easy questions, because based on all the concept and the examples these can be done. So do from your side. Tomorrow we'll raise some important question.